Okay guys, what we're going to look at today is what we call the zero product property. Okay, we're going to start with something else just to lead into what we're doing. Okay, so for example, if I gave you something like 2x plus 4 equals 10, what do we do to solve this? Okay, when we're solving this, we're looking for an x value. All right, so let's solve this one. You know that the steps we need to make are, firstly, we want x by itself, so that plus 4 needs to go away. So we're going to minus 4 on both sides. All right, which leaves us with 2x equals 6. Then we're going to divide both sides by 2, which leaves us with x is equal to 3. Okay, so we've just solved this equation. Now, that's nice for this equation. But what do we do if we get a quadratic equation? So for example, if I said to you that I have x squared plus 10x equals minus 24. What do we do with this? How do we solve it? Okay, how to solve? Okay, lots of people do this, or lots of people think about this in a way that makes it difficult. But what you need to do is think about, what have I been teaching you to do so far? Okay, I've been teaching you to factorize. Now, we're going to go into this in more detail shortly. Okay, and actually this will pretty much cover the next two sections. But we said up at the top that this is about what we call the zero product property. What does that mean? Zero product. Well, product is multiply. So obviously we're looking at something to do with multiplying. Now, just to lead into this, if I said to you 5 times a equals 0, what's the value of a? How do we find a? Well, we divide both sides by 5, don't we? So we divide by 5 on both sides, and we therefore will get a on the left, and 0 divided by 5 is still 0. Okay, if you have nothing and you divide it by 5 people, each of them has nothing. Okay, so a is 0. If I said to you 3 times b equals 0, well, again, we could divide by 3 on both sides. All right, and we're going to get b equals 0. Okay, it doesn't matter what we do. If we have something multiplied by something equals 0, then that variable needs to be 0. Okay, so one of the two numbers needs to be 0, and the 5 can't be 0 here because it's already a 5. So that a must be a 0. All right, but what happens in a situation where we have a times b is equal to 0? Okay, what do we have in this situation? We have something times something equals 0. Okay, how do we multiply something to get 0? Well, either the a or the b must be 0. All right, and actually we treat it as if both of them are, okay, because both will be a solution. So when you have something times something equals 0, what we actually get are two answers. We get a equals 0 or b equals 0, and we use this or symbol. Okay, and this is what I want you to be using. This is or. All right, so this gives us two solutions. One will be a equals 0, the other will be b equals 0. Okay, now think about it. This a times b, when we have taught you to factorize, we've taught you to put things in an a times b form. Okay, this is like our binomial products. So for example, if I give you x plus 3, x plus 2 equals 0, okay, this is a, and we're multiplying, because remember there's really a times in between the brackets, we're multiplying by b. Okay, so what we can say here is x plus 3 equals 0 or x plus 2 equals 0. And I expect you to write this out properly, okay? So make sure you're actually following all steps. Ignore anything that the textbook says. Okay, if it says you don't need to write this, please ignore it. The textbook's not going to mark your work, I am. Okay, and I've told you to do it. So you need to be listening to me, not listening to what the textbook says. That's the first thing. Okay, Secondly, we need to make sure we're not skipping steps. All right, it's very frustrating to see people skip steps and then wonder why they're missing marks. Okay, so here we now need to finish this off because we don't have x equals something. So let's look at them both. The one on the left here, we've got x plus 3 equals 0. So we need to minus 3 to get the x by itself. So now we're going to have x is equal to minus 3, and that one's done. Or, on the other side, we've got x plus 2, so we need to minus 2 from both sides, and we're going to have x is equal to minus 2. And that's it. We're done. We have two answers. X is minus 3 or x is minus 2. Okay, we can do this in all kinds of situations, but there are two rules. Firstly, it must be A times B. Okay, they must be two things multiplied together. All right, and they must be equal to 0. So must be. It must be equal to 0. Okay, that's a really important point because later on you might get a situation like the one I wrote above. So you can see I wrote one above here where I said x squared plus 10x equals minus 24. This is not equal to 0, is it? Okay, so we need to first, before we do anything else, we need to make it equal to 0, but we will talk about that in the next lesson. For now, I just want you to get used to just solving ones that are already factorized and ready for you. So the ones you're going to be doing today will already be factorized, okay, and they will also already be equal to 0. All right, there's one other type that you're going to see that might look a little bit different, and that's something like 2x 3x plus 6 equals 0. Okay, so look at this. You can see that this is factorized. Okay, there is still two terms here. There are still two terms here. We have one term here multiplied by another term here. Okay, and in that case, we can now say 2x equals 0 or 3x plus 6 equals 0. Okay, the one on the left is now easy. We're just going to divide both sides by 2. Okay, and we're just going to get here x equals 0. Or, okay, on this side, we need to firstly minus 6 from both sides, which will give us 3x equals minus 6. Then we need to divide by 3. Okay, and that gives us x is equal to minus 2. All right, so our final answer for this is going to be x equals 0 or x equals minus 2. Okay, and that's it for today. So good luck.